So I only met Joe Rogan like a minute before filming started, and he was showing me the little studio dog. And I said, I have a blue heeler. And he was like, huh, what's that? And I was like, it's a dog. And he said, oh, well, what color is it? And I was like, it's gray. And he just looked at me really perplexed, like he was like, oh. And then filming started. So the first few minutes of me on camera in the Joe Rogan Experience, I'm like trying to figure out what the hell happened there. I'm like, did he think I meant I actually have a blue dog? Because I said a blue heeler. Like, does he think I have like the anti-Clifford or something? I still don't know if he was just trying to mess with me or not. That's my dog. His name is Holmes. He was Thomas, but he's so freaking naughty that he lost his T privileges, so we went from Thomas to Holmes. I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the channel, but I'm actually a huge fan of The Office. And at some point in my talk with Joe, I just got it in my head that I wanted to say, question, what kind of bear is best? And then he'd answer, and I would say, false, black bear. Obviously that didn't happen, but I was actually quite fixated on it. And speaking of The Office, the viewfinder of the camera was on me, and for some reason, like, all I wanted to do was spam the camera with Jim Halpert faces. Like, just be like over and over again. And I did. That's the best part. I actually did, but they didn't show any of it, because obviously if Joe was talking, then they were showing Joe's face, so they weren't showing Bob's Jim Halpert faces, which is fine, obviously. Sorry, I'm playing fetch with my dog. Nailed it. And speaking of Joe Rogan's cameras, I think that his are haunted, because I looked so fat. Like, ugh. Guys, I weigh 166 pounds. And when I look at that, I see man boobs. I don't have man boobs. So I actually had a shirt that fit me. It was in my carry-on bag, but unfortunately a bottle of body wash opened up and got on the shirt. Which is ironic, to be soiled by soap. Immediately after the episode aired, my friend Philip called. And he was like, bro, you had man boobs on Joe Rogan. And it really hurt my feelings, so we won't be talking to Philip so much anymore. Hey, yes, I am petty. I'm so petty I might as well be free-falling. I promise I'll never do another video like this again, don't worry. I really wish I'd said more on the podcast. I had planned and prepared a lot to say, but it all just kind of went out the window. I'm skeptical that Joe will ever want me back on the show, but I'm kind of a worst-case scenario person, so it's very possible that he will, but I feel like he won't. If he does, I'd be very happy, because I have a lot of stuff to say that I didn't say, but I'd need to develop an eating disorder first because of his cameras. I think I said I don't believe in ghosts. I don't know why I said that. I do believe in ghosts. I actually have a picture of a ghost, believe it or not. So I don't know why I said that. So I actually speak very quickly. I know on my channel I trained myself over a long period of time to speak slowly and methodically and with intention. But normally I actually speak very fast. However, I do take very long pauses before I start speaking, because I like to know what I'm saying before I say it, which is a good thing, and there's not enough of that in the world these days. But I think what he was doing is thinking that there was too much dead space, and, you know, he doesn't want silence or long pauses or gaps. And he thought I wouldn't say anything, which maybe I wouldn't have, to be honest, but I think I would have. There were just a few times where I needed, like, literally a fraction of a second longer before I could start speaking. But I was denied. Story of my life. Just kidding. And then I don't know if it was the nerves or if it was the beer, but I was making an incredible amount of mouth sounds. You know, like... And it's frustrating, because, like, half my job, or the hardest part of my job, is making sure I don't have mouth sounds, and usually I don't. I mean, I always have some, like everyone does, but just every time I opened my mouth, I could hear them like thunder, because those headphones are so sensitive. So I think the mouth sounds made me a little more hesitant or shy than I normally would be. literally every time I opened my mouth, it was like, which kind of trained me to not open my mouth. If there's anything I can do to avoid that next time, which I'm not sure if there will be a next time, but if there's anything I can do to avoid that next time, I will certainly do that. And there was beer, and I normally don't drink. In fact, I haven't drank in years before that. Wish I hadn't. And it's not because I got drunk. I only had, 2 beers in 3 hours, or however long it was. The problem was that it made me really burpy. Like, do you ever get... And I don't even drink soda. So I have very little defenses against the carbonation. Do you ever get that thing where it's like you kind of get like a burp caught in your throat, and then when you open your mouth it kind of sounds like it gurgles up a little bit? I had that thing where it kind of sounds like a burp gurgles up a little bit, and it was just kind of awkward and embarrassing. Wish it hadn't happened. Shouldn't have drank. Don't drink. That was, to me, I was telling myself don't drink. Not, I don't care what you do. You do whatever you want. You do you. I only heard from Matt, Joe's booking agent, on August 1st, I think. And then I was on the show on August 7th, so there wasn't a whole lot of time to get stuff figured out. But in between, I had this reoccurring dream that I was in Joe Rogan's studio, only there were like 1,000 doors in there. And there was this dog, like a pit bull, but the size of a Newfoundland, that was like anchored on my back. And Theo Von was in his birthday suit, like scuttling across the ceiling, like Gollum. So then when I was sitting there, for some reason, I just kept thinking, like, it's happening, it's happening. Except there weren't 1,000 doors, and no one was scuttling across the ceiling, unfortunately. I thought I bombed. I really did, and that's exactly what I said when I stood up. After filming was done, I stood up and I was like, did I just bomb? And Joe was like, no, you did fine, you did fine. And I still don't know if he was lying or not. Do you want to hear my favorite part? This is my favorite part. So as soon as recording was done, and I got back in the limo to go back to my hotel, the limo driver was like, hey, did Joe invite you to, I forget what it was called, the place that he invites people. Did Joe invite you there? And I was like, no, he didn't. And the limo driver was like, oh, okay. So, that was the most awkward thing in my life. I loved it. It was great. I didn't want to go anyway. Why would I want to go hang out with Joe Rogan? It's nuts. We'd probably just talk about bears the whole time. I haven't watched it yet, and I don't really plan to be honest, but I'll never watch a podcast the same way ever again. I don't care who you are, or at least my nerves were just taut like a drum. Where's your ball? At one point, we even talked about it. I don't remember exactly what the context was, but it's something about fear of public speaking. And I was like, you think I don't know anything about that? And he said, like, yeah, but it's just you and me here. And I was like, it is not just you and me here. I feel 10,000 eyes or 10 million eyes on me right now. Or maybe more like 500,000. 500,000 heads, 1 million eyes maybe, is what my guess would be. I know I mentioned to Joe that I have footage of a lion roaring. And I know now that he asked me if I had ever seen a predator. And he meant in the wild. No, I've never seen a predator, a man-eater type predator in the wild. My last safari was quite a boring affair. But I did work at a zoo for many years, and I know it's different, but I told him I just took a video of a lion, and in case you want to look at it, here it is for your viewing pleasure. It's only a few seconds. Joe Rogan actually wasn't really on my radar at all. I'd watched the Bob Lazar video, but that was the only one. And I didn't have like a strong opinion of him in either direction. And until very recently, like literally days before his booking agent reached out to me, I saw a clip of him talking about birthdays, and I related to that so much. He was talking about how he doesn't like when people get excited about their birthdays. And I've thought that since I was like 6. That always drives me nuts when people are like, it's my birthday, you didn't come to my birthday party? It's like, you didn't do anything, you didn't earn anything. If anything, your birth date is your mom's birthday, because she's the one that had the rough day that should be celebrated, not you. You just didn't die. Is that what we're giving out celebrations for these days? I don't think so. So it's kind of funny that I was on the show after so recently seeing the first thing I've heard him say that made me go like, oh yeah, okay, this guy knows what's up. Being on the Joe Rogan Experience was not something that I saw on the stars for 2024. Or forever, for that matter. But I'm super glad it happened. I wish it had gone a little bit better, but what can you do? Maybe everyone thinks they bombed. That very well may be the case, because you don't know what to expect. I also think it's kind of interesting how, like, everyone goes on that show thinking they know Joe a little bit, but Joe doesn't go into it thinking that he knows you, which makes it kind of an awkward dynamic, I think. But I don't know. I could be wrong. And Joe's a really nice guy. I just wanted to throw that out there in case there was any dispute about that. I'm sorry, it's so difficult. I'm trying to throw the ball in that large green space, which sounds like an easy thing to do, but not for me. Nailed it. And no offense, Joe, in case you're watching this, which I'll never know because I'm not allowed to read the comments. But it's not even offensive. I don't know why I said that, but Joe seems like less eccentric in person than he seems like on camera or when you watch videos. And I think that's for two reasons. One is because the crazy parts are the ones that get disseminated the most, so you're most likely to see Joe being off his rocker a little bit. But I forgot the other reason. Oh, I think the other reason is because we don't see... I think the other reason is because we don't often see people being weird on camera. Most of the time people are... That doesn't make any sense. People are weird on camera all the time. I don't want to be rude, but it's like surprisingly normal, I should say. And I feel like I'm so bad at YouTube because I never want to upload anything. I never think it's good enough, or for some reason I think it's just going to bother people, or someone's going to get mad, or I think like someone's going to get upset, or all these weird little fears that mean nothing. But that doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm going to try and keep that in mind in the future. So that's a terrible segue into me saying that I just want to thank all the supportive people out there. That's kind of my life lesson out of being a YouTuber, is to never hesitate to say a kind or encouraging word, because there have been times that it was hard to see. Just not great times that either I got an email or read a comment or a Patreon message or whatever of something nice, and it kind of shifted the winds a little bit, and it shouldn't play a factor really on a person's psyche whether someone supports you or not, because you can do the right thing without having anyone support you, but it does mean a lot. So I thank you all. I thank you all a great amount for all that, because I know it sounds so cliche, but this has all been far beyond anything I ever thought my channel would be. So thank you. I'd also like to thank Joe, of course. You know, I still can't believe it. If you told me tomorrow that I had a medical event and that I just have been unconscious for the past few months, I would believe you. I don't get out of the house very often, and so even just the trip to Texas, and I'd never been to Texas, so that was cool. I was a little disappointed at the extreme lack of cowboys. Not one cowboy, but maybe next time. That might be like a Houston thing. I don't know. Austin is pretty progressive. And then most importantly, I guess I wanted to thank all my viewers and fans. I cringe. I don't like saying fans. I literally can't believe that I have fans. Like, that's not something that I'm accustomed to or that feels normal to say. But thank you. I still can't believe it. We're getting good at this as soon as we're finishing up the video. So anyway, I just want to say again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Joe, and everyone who has supported me. I promise I'll never do a video like this again, because I know that when you come to expect a certain type of video from a channel, it's always upsetting when they change the format or whatever, but hopefully we'll have another normal video for you very soon. Alright, again, thank you all, and as always, thanks an awful lot for listening. You're all wore out. Me too. Perhaps it's dinner time. Just kidding. We're not eating anymore.